Hello everyone. How are we doing? Happy Wednesday. You guys good? You guys chilling? Good afternoon. Good afternoon indeed. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And good morning. Wherever you are in the world. You could be anywhere right now. And you chose to spend your time with me. However long. I always appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are at the midway point of the week. And I have been exceptionally busy. But also incredibly productive. Some of you who track the models painted number down there, you will notice that it has gone up by 3. Yes. I've painted 3 very complicated, very, very difficult miniatures. And if only I could tell you what they were. You'll find out soon enough. In a matter of hours. We survived our Texas snowstorm. Excellent, Jeremy. Bard's family. No, they wouldn't exactly be very complicated miniatures. Significantly more difficult miniatures than those. Hello, Grimgar. And also hello, Jeremy. Jason, Artistic Outlaw. James, hello. Thomas, Brian Wilson, Jungle Camper, Wildy, Yamail Angmar, Stoogie, Tattooed Zoologist, No Name, Alaric. Oh, one can hope the zombie dragon. Oh, Alaric, I wish. I wish. I wish. I wish. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to punch the microphone there. You can try and infer from the colour of my thumb. Let me show you. There you go. That is unfortunately not zombie dragon colours. So there you go. So you can try and infer from that what it is. Hello, fellow Josh. Hello, fellow Josh to you too, awesome Josh. But there we go. Could you eventually do a Black Knight contrast video? You mean like... Wait, which one's the Black Knights? For Ravenwing? Is that what you're asking for? As always, I guess new Space Hulk. Oh, he's got it. It's a world first. I'm the one who gets to announce it. So here it is, the all new Space Hulk. I wish. That would be incredible. Baharoth colours more like. That's an interesting hypothesis there, Yamail Angmar. Interesting. Eldar. You've all got really good guesses. Really good guesses. It's new sculpts of Riders of Rohan. He's got the scoop. Yep, it's another world first. Warhammer have decided they're not going to do their Twitch previews anymore. They're just going to let me do it on a Wednesday. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine it? I wonder how long it would take. Like, for example, if Games Workshop were like, oh yeah, okay, Josh, what we want you to do is we want you to preview the new Riders of Rohan, let's say. And like, let's say that that's something that they wanted me to do. I wonder how long it would take after me streaming for 2 hours for it to be out there in the world. I think it would take a surprisingly long amount of time. I reckon it would be like weeks before it would get there. is my guess. Dan Robbo, thank you very much for being a member for 18 months. Good evening, Mr. Hipster. Good evening, Dan Robbo. 18 months. That's incredible. Amazing support. Thank you so much, Dan. I really appreciate it. Any chance the Mangler Squigs will be on the list for this year? It's not out of the question. Gloomspite Gits is happening. We just don't know when yet. Don't forget to give the stream a like. Mini Creative knows what's up. Guys, if you could please leave a like on the stream, that would be very, very kind of you. That is the free, entirely free way to support the channel. And the other free thing you can do is also hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Because if you're not subscribed but you're watching, it means you can't chat. Theoretically, I should have subscribers only turned on. It stops the bots, you see. Hey Josh, can you help me choose a colour scheme for my Krieg? I'm torn between navy blue or grey. Which do you think will be easier to batch paint and get my army on the tabletop and still look good? Probably blue, because blue will read better than grey. Grey will take more work than it's surprised. You'll be surprised at how much extra work it would take to get the grey reading nicely on the tabletop. You'd have to have a really bright grey for it to read really nicely, and a really dark armour. You couldn't do grey with silver. It would just be too. They would look like blobs. It wouldn't be good. But blue with silver works because blue is a nice counterpart to silver. Etc. Etc. Good evening, Josh, and all in chat. Sorry that I am late. Just finished a meeting and making some medical appointments. I hope that everyone is having a great week. Thank you very much for being a member for 19 months, Colonel. I hope you're okay if you're making medical appointments. Are you okay? Are you alright? Good evening, you legend. Good evening, to you, Adeptus Pictura. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Peter. How you doing? Good evening, Mini Painting Dad. Do you use a Citadel colour stick when you prime? I do. It's very cool. It's a cool bit of kit. You know my favourite thing about it? My favourite thing about it is that it's a stick with a rotating thing where your models sit. I love that. You just move that thing around rather than having to hold a stick and do this type of thing and having to like adjust it in your hand. Your hand holding the models is the one that doesn't have to adjust. You just hold it like this. Just hold your stick and then just move the thing around. It's great. It's perfect. I love it. While I'm being inquisitive, any chance you can remember where you got your paint shelves from? I'm in the market for some. I can remember. In fact, they are from TT Combat. I can go and get the link for you. I shall do that. I shall do that right now. TT Combat. And it is the Citadel paint shelves, I believe is what they're called. But we shall find out. Paint racks. It is these ones. Citadel paint shelf. They hold up to 72 pots of paint. There you go. That is the link. And basically a contrast pot like this one up here. Contrast pots will fit all the way down, but things like the old contrast medium, for example, won't go in. You can't get them in there. You can only put them on the top shelf. So if you get some, it's basically each shelf is like this. It's two columns, that one and that one. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And they are full. No, they're great. Assembly acquired. There's MDF. You just sort of press it together and use a bit of glue and you'll be all good. Sorting out my attic other day, found loads of metal minis, Lord of the Rings, still sealed in blister packs. Thought I'd lost them years ago. Oh, that's incredible, Dan. That's awesome. I'm glad. Here for it. Thanks. You're very welcome, Tom. I hope everyone's doing well. Looking forward to some basing. Helm, Frecker, and Wolf still in queue. Yes. Helm, Frecker, and Wolf. I did Wolf, didn't I? Or Thorn. Do you mean Thorn? They are still in the queue. I believe... Having some issues with my leg that I injured 2 years ago. I need x-rays as my mobility has become really limited. Oh, Colonel, I'm really sorry to hear that. It sucks having limited mobility. I do understand. I have terrible, terrible, terrible knees myself. And also a bad hip and awful shoulders because my body's fallen apart from early years of abusing it. And really what I should do is just do like yoga or something every day. That would prolong my joints. But I also, like, I have parents with, well, I have a mother with terrible knees, so I've inherited those as well. But there you go. I was literally checking something on my phone. Yes, I am checking. So my dates at the moment, it looks like I might have time to do Thorn, Frecker, and Helm the week of the 17th of February. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I will get them done then. They're built, they're primed, they're ready to go. Do a yoga stream. I wouldn't want to embarrass myself any more than I normally do. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. I can be paid to build your minis for you. You just got to pay me in other minis and also ship them to Texas. That's the problem, Jack. That adds quite a significant lead time onto the production of miniatures. I ship my miniatures to Texas to have them built, and then I have them shipped back. Both are accurate. My daughter says you are the Warhipster because you play something called lo-fi while you paint. I say it's because of the beard. Who is right? You're technically both right. They're both quite hipster attitudes to have. Also, dedicating your life to tabletop wargaming, that's a pretty hipster thing to do. People will know that. People will think that. They'll be like, oh god, so niche, so kitschy. But you know, the name comes from basically a disagreement with one of my best friends who used to run a Games Workshop in Leamington. And he's the one with significantly more hipster traits than I do, but would outwardly accuse me of it all the time. So I just leaned into it. My entire identity is built off of that. And also, you know, the beard. And if I could find decent cat t-shirts, I would wear them. 100%. A car accident in 2008 gave me back issues that have become chronic. Man, getting to 55 does take a toll. I'm really sorry about that. I was about to say, let's compare bodies when I'm 55, but that's a really weird thing to say. See what I mean? Yoga stream, embarrassing. I say things like that. That's what comes into my brain. I know you hate building minis, but I find your sprue reviews invaluable. Well, see, that's the thing. I think that's the other side of the problem, right? Is I have to do the building of miniatures for the videos, for the sprue reviews, because you guys love the sprue reviews, and I like making them. Because I feel like they're quite a valuable corner of the internet, which more and more people discover and think is cool, and other people who flat have an opinion about a product already come in and yell at me. And that's always fun. So, like, the Deathcore of Krieg army set box. Oh, boy. There is a lot of comments on there about people who are mad about it. And not really about the sprues or anything. But it's fine. It's how we generate engagement. It's how we grow the channel. It's how you layer on your thick armor skin. My carapace. If you do a yoga stream, you may see you cry out of pain and not out of happiness. That is exactly correct, Jack. Mini Paint Dad, thank you so much for the €10. Always remember, bearded men are just like men without beards, but with beards. I'm going to steal that and use that in the future. I hope you don't mind. Has there been still no announcement for King Helm Olwyn, Leaf, or Freylaf from Games Workshop. Really hoping they didn't put these specific profiles in and want to wait too long to get them out. Yeah, they haven't shown off those models. I suspect you'll see a bit of a gap, and you might see a flurry of Lord of the Rings when War of the Rohirrim comes to a streaming service near you. I would guess is when the next batch of it stuff will be, but I don't know. I don't know 100%. But I want to know what a Freylaf model looks like. I mean, you can tell by watching the video. The film. I do want to get my hands on them because I'm really excited. I also hope that that's when we hear anything about maybe some new riders. But there we go. Let's get some basing done on these Guardians, shall we? That's the first job that needs to be done. Because as I was counting it up today, guys. I was counting it up. If I do everything that I need to do, we will be, as of today, this stream is our 14th day in a row with a piece of content. 14 days straight of content. And at the moment, planned and executed are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more videos yet to come. So, we could see, at minimum, because I do 3 videos, well, there's space for, what, 5 videos a week, 2 streams, plus 2 streams, 5, 10, 13, and then there's another box yet for me to work through, and then another box after that, and another box after that, another box after that. We could see daily content until like the 15th of February, so it could be like a 30-day streak, because of stuff like this. So, you know, I do this for you because I just want you guys to love me. That's all. I've got a Baneblade to paint, so that's another video that I want to do, as well as the Rogal Dorn, which we might get to building tonight. Although one of the best things about my sprue reviews, thank you for reminding me of them, James, is I went back and looked at my Rogal Dorn sprue review, and it took me 3 hours and 11 minutes to build one. So that might be we might change tack slightly and do. I did buy a Solar Auxilia Basilisk for my guard. I might build that instead of the Rogal Dorn, see how long that takes to build. Because at the moment, I don't know how long that'll take to build, so I feel more comfortable doing that one. But we'll have to figure it out. We'll figure it out together. Because I won't be able to get the whole thing built today, you see, if I do the Rogal Dorn. But we'll figure it out. Are we getting more Space Elf tutorials soon? Yes, Brush of Chaos. You're getting of the ones I can tell you about. You're getting an Ulthwé, and a Latok, a Samehan, an Eandon, and a Bael'Tan video. That's the 100% confirmed videos that are coming your way. As for anything else, you might have to just wait and see. But rest assured, there are at least 5 videos coming in addition to these. But I couldn't possibly tell you what they are. Five, possibly 7. It depends how the next 3 days go. So much content. I'm not sure if we have a data. If we have enough days in to bring you all of these models, but we'll have to see. All these videos will come out. I'm painting Mary Poppins Krieg bag. Oh, what, the spare medical bag. I just didn't bother building it. I was like, I don't need this. I have a medic carrying a bag, and I have one with a syringe. That's fine. That will be enough. So I have some spare. I have some spare medical bags if anybody needs them. I heard mention of a Warhipster Discord server on LOTR on Monday, but couldn't find a link to it. That is because Iffy, is that how I say your name? The reason why is there is a Warhipster server on Discord. It is a beautiful server. It's full of beautiful people and wonderful, amazing, talented, wonderful people who are very kind and lovely and awesome. And the way you get to it is by becoming either a member or a Patreon. Or you could ask somebody here in the chat to gift you a membership. Now, they can't get you specifically, but they might get you by accident. So if a bunch of people gift some memberships, you might get a membership. And then you'll have access to the Discord server. I need to do something. I'm going to dry brush a model I can't show you. Do you have a tutorial for the Glaive Wraith Stalkers? Which one? Well, the answer to that is no, because I don't know what they are. I do know what they are, but I don't know what they are. Where do they come from? Mirkwood Armoured Warriors still out of stock in the UK. Do you know, I haven't checked today. I'll go and have a look in just a moment. Let me apply this secret dry brush. So secret. Okay. Yeah, go in there. Let's have a look, shall we? Warhammer.com. Why am I... We see you are in Japan. I'm not. Mirkwood. The Rangers are in stock. That was weird. Armoured Elves are still out of stock. You know what we can look for, though? We can look for... Oh, no, he's out of stock as well. Bum. Okay. Mimicus, thank you very much for 5 gifted Warhipster memberships. Legendary. That's very kind of you. Yeah, that's what I just checked. No name for Big Moose Daddy. Thanks for answering. Oh, Glaive Wraith Stalkers, they're from Nighthaunt, aren't they? I do have. There is one that might help you. I have the Pyregeists. That's a video you can just lift and shift and paint across all your Nighthaunt. Did you see that CEX is now selling Warhammer also 2 now? Are they? Oh, I know. I think I did see that because I was looking up. Basically, I was trying to see if I could get. There's a camera that. Well, there's a camera lens, and there is a camera as well that I always really like the idea of getting, but I want to get it from CEX because it's, you know, cheaper by doing it. But I checked it and they didn't have it. Let's see if we can I do this? I can. Let's try. See if we can get 5. See if we can get some more grey names green. Well, congratulations to those 5. The Warhammer website was miraculously unblocked at my work, so I can finally look at minis while I'm supposed to be doing things. Mr. Josh, I just got the new Helm Hammerhand. There's quite a bit of white on the model. Any tips on how to go about painting him all the best? As in, you've gotten Helm Hammerhand, Wraith of the Hornburg. Wraith of the Hornburg, there he is. Okay, so his white is... There's a couple of different things about it, right? So you could do... And I haven't done my video on it yet. But what I would suggest is... You can do... There's basically 2 different ones here. You don't need to do 3. Because the reason being is that there's enough separation between his hair, the fur, but there isn't separation between his kind of quilted his quilted jumper. So what I'd recommend is use Nuln oil for his beard and hair. Just prime it grey sear. That's what I've done. Prime it grey sear. Use Nuln oil for the beard and hair, and then for the quilt, beard, hair, and the fur. For the quilt, use Apothecary White. It will give you 2 completely different whites. But then you can highlight them both with Corax White and then White Scar. That's how I will do it, basically. Mimicus, thank you very much for 10 gifted Warhipster memberships. That's incredibly kind of you. And Brian Eggemeyer, thank you very much for another 5 gifted Warhipster. Oh, you guys are being legends. Thank you so much. It's very, very kind of you. Wait, did I miss another one? I did miss another one. Hang on a minute. We've had... Mimicus is gifted 20 because he's a legend. That should put you over the goal. It 100% has. I missed you the first time. Sorry about that. Thank you so much. That is incredibly kind of you. We're on 512 now. That's very kind. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. Dude, I painted my Void Dragon with your guide. Your video was so good, and my Catan looks also good. Not as good as yours, but I am fine with that. But Ben, I bet it does look as good as mine. I bet it does. Can you recommend what tutorials you'd have me reference for wargs? Not the wolfy fell wargs from The Hobbit, but the big hyena wargs from Lord of the Rings. Okay, so a couple of things. We have, in my Mordor video, the Mordor Battle Host, I think. Is it Mordor Battle? No, it's Osgiliath. The Mordor side of Battle of Osgiliath. There's Gothmog on warg. So that's one video. There's also the Werewolves of Angmar is another one that can be used. And what else? There's more. I do have a set of I actually do have a set of Snarlfang Riders I could do as well at some point, given as Gloomspite Gits are imminent, whenever they are. What about tutorial for Space Wolf and Space Marine Dreadnought, dear friend? So basically what I would suggest is in the combat patrol for Space Wolves, there is the Invicta Warsuit. It's basically that. It would just be that again. Across more. But we did do... one thing that would help you as well is I think... Did I do it? I'm pretty certain I did. There is a video on the channel which I believe is how to paint a Space Wolves Gladiator. Space Wolves Gladiator. There is indeed. There it is. So basically, this is much bigger than a Dreadnought. You'd recommend the new Vulcan green plus Nuln Oil over the Dark Angels green for guard. I would, because I think it looks great. Dark Angels green has got way more warmth to it, which is also fine. But I wanted the sort of that colder military look, basically. I think it looks a little bit better. And in the video that I did on yesterday that came out, I couldn't put Dark Angels green over the top of the Firebrands because they had the orange. And basically, if I'd put Dark Angels green over the Firebrands and over the top of the sort of the other Cadians, let's just call them Cadian 8th, right? It would have been two completely different tones of green because the paints that were underneath that will change the tone of what goes on top of it because that's how contrast paint works, right? Because it's translucent. It's not opaque. It is what you put when you put your contrast paint on. It is a reflection of what's underneath it. So if in the case of the Firebrands, if I'd put Dark Angels green over the top, there would have been this sort of orange-green stripe going across the middle of it, which would have looked horrible. So that's why. That's the other part of it as well. So Gracier as primer for Frecker and Lord Thorn 2. Yes. Yeah, basically. It's basically how I did the rest of the box is Gracier. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense with MESBG. Because you look at it and you think, well, you know, there's the orcs and then there's the goodies. MESBG is one of those nice, easy games where it's like, there's the good guys, there's the bad guys. There's no blurred lines here. It's the nature of Lord of the Rings, right? But with Lord of the Rings, because it's got more of a grounded feel to it, which sounds weird, but stay with me. Because it's got more of a kind of grounded feel to it, it's not high fantasy. Gracier pretty much works for everything in MESBG because it makes everything cold, and because when you have cold it has a slightly darker feel to it. It's what you want for MESBG. If you go for Wraithbone, it becomes really bright and it makes it appear almost cartoony at that point. And you can always add warmth if you need to, basically. Simon, thank you very much for being a member for 40 months. Any advice on how to do the Darkbone on Canaan, as in Canaan's Reapers? I believe this video will hold all of the secrets you require. That is the Catacross video. Mortarch of the Necropolis. In there, there's the guy on. There's like the warrior guy on the right of him. That's how I would do it, basically. But there's plenty of different options in there. Like there's the bird. There's There's the guy with the bird, with the messenger guy. He's got quite a dark bone as well. It's the other way I would do it. But that Catacross video will contain everything you need to do to paint anything when it comes to Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Are you keeping the same paint scheme for Big Daddy Titan as to his little buddy? That is correct, Peter. I will be doing Legio Solaria on it. I think. I'm pretty certain. But I'm going to make things a little bit easier on myself, and I'm actually going to use proper coloured primers for it, rather than do it all in grey sear. Do you keep all the minis you paint? For now, Zach. Also, can we buy your painted minis anywhere? I haven't put any up for sale yet. But there is a vague plan this year. So, for those who weren't around on Monday... for those of you who weren't around on Monday, I was talking about a vague plan this year of doing basically the Warhipster yard sale, where we will sell off a bunch of stuff, and it will be a combination of an in-person event and also an online thing where we'll sell some stuff online as well. I still haven't thought exactly about the logistics of it. It's been 3 days and I've been really busy. But there will be a chance this year to buy a piece of Warhipster history. Good evening, Mr. Josh. Good evening, Mr. Demogorgon. How are you? I did just call you Demogorgon. I'm sorry. Hello, Pridders. Hello, Edward. Let's go with... I mean, I want tiny dry green, basically. None of these. History, aka Warhipstery. Yeah, that's it. It's exactly it. Tiny dry green, right there on the top. Question about an FEC paint scheme. Would you paint Crypt Horror / Flares using the same exact steps in your, say, Morgaunt video? That is exactly correct. Basically, I have a video of all of them. There's a video that should be out there of Crypt Guard painted across 3, and it should be across Hollowmorn, obviously Morgaunt, Blister Skin, and the other one, Gristlegore. You basically just take that and bump it up to any of the others, any of the other sized models. Can we get a playlist of the music in your videos? You can if you go to Epidemic Sound and subscribe to them. I can't directly profit off of that because that would be mean. That would be, I think that would break terms of service, basically. If I was to just put a playlist together of the royalty-free music that I use, but Epidemic Sound is where I get all my royalty-free music. You do have to pay for it. It's one of the many expenses of Warhipstering, which is what the kind gifters and super chatters help me do to maintain the channel that I hope you know and love. Someday, when I have a little bit more time, I want to go and I want to sit down and compose my own set of music to use. So I don't have to use it anymore. I can just use, other stuff. I can use my own stuff. That would be nice. What make of grass tufts are your favourite? Gamer's Grass. Because, as I understand it, Gamer's Grass used to make Games Workshop's tufts. So I used to really like, I think it was the Middenland tufts that Games Workshop made. They used to make something called Middenland tufts, which were basically that colour there. Basically that, but bigger. They don't make that anymore. They now make the sort of neon nightmares that they make, which I don't like. Because it doesn't quite work with how sort of dark their basing materials are. There you go. A Latok and Bale 10. Any plans to extend your sword collection, or are you happy just with Herogrim? Alaric. Oh man, such a good question. No, I want of course the one that everybody always wants. I want Anduril. I also want to get the Leviathan axe from God of War. I would very much like that. Very, very much like that one. Because I saw a really, really good one, and I was like, "Oh, I could buy it," and then I just didn't, which was foolish of me. I would also like a replica of Wesley Snipes' blade, because I love that sword, and I love those. I love the first two Blade movies. I have a weird relationship with Blade Trinity in that I love the film, but it's really bad. It's just, it was on at a time. I watched Blade Trinity on a day when I was really sad, and it made me think, it made me forget that I was as sad as I was. So it will always have a special place in my heart, that film, even though it's terrible. I remember just being like, this is terrible. My favourite thing about Midland Tufts was the blood raven on the front. Was the proper shade of red, not corn red like the official tutorial. You are exactly correct there, Liblet. I couldn't agree more. Corn red is not the right colour for blood ravens. It's kind of like a... There's too much crimson in corn red. It needs to be a brighter red, but slightly browner. I always think it's... I think the recipe for blood ravens is Blood Angels red shaded with Reichland flesh shade. Not any other way. Evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? I'm doing very, very well. I think everybody's doing very well. What about Gal Maraz? Yes, I want a replica of Gal Maraz, and I want to know where the hell it is now, because Warhammer Armories made me sign up to their newsletter. So I did. No news. Where the hell is it? Give it to me. I don't care how much money it will cost. Sorry, asking again. Do you still use the blue/black Templar to make black base coats, or would you now just use Black Legion? So more often than not, Black Legion is the answer. However, it depends what kind of black you're going for, because sometimes it's not a true black that they've gone for. A great example of that is the Inner Circle Companions that came out, the Dark Angels ones. On Tau. Yeah, no. So on Tau, it would just use Black Legion. You could shade it with Drakenhof Nightshade to make it a bluish. But Black Legion is just better. Really liked the video on how you fix the Cadians, by the way. It was very interesting to see how you go about that. Thank you, GameX. Did you guys... Who here watched that video? Was it a good video? Did you like it? Because I said to Alice... I was like, this video is either going to be really popular or it's going to go nowhere. And it's done neither of those things. It's like perfectly middle of the road. But I just want to know, is that the kind of thing that you like to see? Because it's still kind of the same format that we usually do for the tutorials and things like that. But it is a different style of thing. So, yeah, I just Just wanted to know, basically. I'd like some feedback on it. So keen for the Eldar tutorials. My Eandan army has been sitting untouched for a long time as I don't enjoy painting yellow, but love the lore of that craft world. Well, you're going to be in for a treat with this one, because I did it really simply. It's a beauty, that one. It's Imperial Fist with some thin downy Eandan yellow, and then it's highlighted with flash kits. And then I think there's some Dawn yellow in there as well, but that's just showing off basically at that point, and also to make the video longer. I watched it and then picked up Vulcan Green. That's great paint. It's lovely paint. It's how we've done all of these. Oh god, come here. There we go. So yeah, video on these coming soon. This is something I need to do as well. I need to finish those Kassakin that we started. Have you ever tried AK Interactive Intense Color Black? If not, best flat black for me personally. That's fair enough. I refuse to use AK products. I have made my reasons. Applying highlights just to achieve peak video length. It's not 100% why. It's just to give it that little bit of. It's to give it that little bit of pop of shine at the sharpest points. It also does help to make the video a little bit longer. So is 5.1K just okay? Yeah, 5.1K is a average video for me. It's a good video. It's not a great video. It's not a bad video. It's just a good one. I've bought a bunch of AK. Have I made a mistake? Look, I don't hold it against anybody for using them. It's just, you know, they put out a horrible thing. They put out a booklet demonstrating how to use their products to recreate war crimes, basically. That's why. Hello, Star Pilot 94. How you doing? I'm trying to up my game, learning how to glaze, etc. My problem is that I get bored because it takes too long. Your method is just the perfect sweet spot of quality and speed. Thank you, Daniel. That's exactly why we do it. How would you do the turquoise of Yggdrasil? That's a good question. Yggdrasil. Eldar. Like that. So if you check out my Celestial Vindicators videos, that's how you do Yggdrasil. Based on the pictures I've just seen, that's how you do it. Sadly not building like I was hoping to. Lost all motivation to when I woke up. No, I feel that stuff, but I very rarely have the motivation to build. So I'm right there with you. Hello, Gotkin Gaming. Spending my evening watching stream, playing Warhammer Total War, and painting a Cataphren destroyer for my Cerastus Castigator base. That sounds sick. As in, like, cool, not you make me sick. AK paints are some of the best. Ignore the internet outrage brigades. That's absolutely fine position to hold. There are extra factors into my decision that I'm not going to go into on stream. But it's not a I jumped on the bandwagon decision. I have my reasons. Well, that is true, Brian, but then they did it again. So the apology didn't really... The apology wasn't... Like, this is the thing, like, generally with apologizing because of something that you did wrong is never really... I had a great quote the other day. And you hear this all the time, is especially, like, you know, like, when you see, like... Especially when YouTubers do it as well. You know, when YouTubers make an apology video because they... you know, said something or did anything. It's not actually an apology. It's permission to just continue that they're asking for. And I was like, oh yeah, damn, that is true. How do you get a clean coat on the rim of the base like that? Are you Steel Legion and usually have to do different layers to maybe get a clean layer? Well, right now I'm using Black Legion to do it. And I will probably have to do a second one. And it's only the rim of the base, it doesn't really matter, right? And yeah, when I use Steel Legion Drab, it's just, you just have to do multiple thin coats. I do it with... when I use Steel Legion Drab, it ends up being 2, sometimes 3 coats. I did think about basically creating a set of spraying bases, so that I wouldn't ever have to do the rim of a base ever again. But then I thought, no, because all that you will end up doing is just creating the process takes a lot longer of super gluing something down to the base or using the blue tack or whatever, and there's extenuating circumstances in terms of where I prime, and there's all these kind of decisions you have to bear in mind, right? So where I prime is at the top of a set of stairs, because I live on a flat that's a second floor flat, basically. It was a second floor maisonette. And because it's a second floor flat, it means when I prime outside, I prime at the front door, which is at the top of a set of very, 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 very hard concrete steps. So when I drop a model, it explodes. There's no two ways about it. So if a model gets dropped during the priming procedure, it explodes, and that's the end of the model. So it has to be secure for me. So I just glue things straight to the base and just deal with the fact I have to do the brace rooms for now. But maybe when we move, we'll have a ground floor where I can prime, and then I might be able to create a set of bases that I use to anchor things. That it doesn't necessarily matter if I do drop it, because it might end up on, like, grass, for example, rather than descending down 15 concrete stairs. and exploding into 1,000 pieces. In fact, last year I did a stream with on a Stormdrake guard that was dropped during the priming process, and that was the repaired version, but I was missing 2 of its fingers, basically. The Batman. Well, sorry, before we get to the Batman, Hungry Bert, member for 12 months, thank you very much. And then the Batman with $100 for the Primarch Fund. We need an Alfarius. Thank you, Batman. Thank you very much, Batman. That is very, 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 very generous of you. I appreciate that very much. I will 100% put that money into the Primarch Fund to purchase an Alfarius. Do we got it, Warhipster, or are you still short? Oh, way, way short of getting every single Primarch. But I think for $100 dues, we're not far off buying an Alfarius. I could buy an Alfarius pretty soon, I reckon. We did add it up, didn't we? All of the Primarchs, and somebody also wanted what's his chops? Carbander. And it was like 1,500 quid. It's like, I don't have that kind of cake. Boo, 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 boo. Oh, I meant to buy Eldrad, actually. That was something I meant to do. I just didn't do it. Put my donation from last week towards Alfarius too. Well, there you go. Oh, the Batman. Thank you so much for another $100. Well, I mean, that definitely puts us, that definitely puts us within range. Well, not within range, that gets us there. Okay, let me head over to warhammer.com. Alfarius. He is out of stock. Brilliant. Okay. I just need to check this website every damn day, don't I? So I can buy all the things you want. It doesn't help that GW puts out some models that break if you look at them wrong. Canary, I'm looking at you. There you go. Did you order Hera, Bride of Death? I did. Was that dispatched? Did that turn up? You failed me. I didn't mean to fail you. Games Workshop failed you. It must have arrived. Oh no. Not yet. That'll be dispatched soon, I bet. I'm so sorry, Batman. As soon as Alfarius comes back in stock, it shall be ordered. The minute. Up to the minute updates. Decided I'm going to paint all the Phoenix Lords and nothing else from Eldar. I mean, you got them all now, apart from Karandrus. He doesn't have a model. They just forgot he existed. Hi, I am from Germany and a Blood Angels painter. What is the perfect red in your opinion? Well, painted many, many Blood Angels in several different ways, and I can definitively tell you that the best method for painting Blood Angels, in my humble opinion, is a Grey Seer Prime, Baal Red, all over, then a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Blood Angels Red and Lahmian Medium over the top as a shade. Then you can highlight it with Evil Sun Scarlet, and then a spot highlight of Fire Dragon Bright. Hands down, best Blood Angels Red. No question in my mind. Hopefully I have a prop. There you go. I always have a prop. Always have a prop within range. It's the first thing they teach you at YouTube school. Is there a YouTube school? No, there isn't. Wish one could view a list of every out-of-stock notification one has signed up for. That would be useful, wouldn't it, Alan? Could you repeat it one more time, slow and... Oh, what, the recipe? Primate Grey Seer. Primate Grey Seer. Give it a full coat of Baal Red. Then take a roughly 1-to-1 mix. So 1 brushful to 1 brushful. Do as many of those as you feel comfortable to get the whole model done. A 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Blood Angels Red. Then give it a highlight of Evil Sun Scarlet, followed by Fire Dragon Bright. And if you want to see how it works, there is a playlist on my channel with 42 videos on how to paint Blood Angels. Good lord. There's a couple of different versions of things in there, so stuff like Asterath and things like that, but this is that Lieutenant I just showed. Bard's Family tutorial when? You surely can't leave those beauties for much longer, right? You'll love painting them. I'll do them when I do Bride of Death, Helm, Frecker, and Lord Thorn. Paint Drazar if you want the Scorpion's Phoenix Lord. It's not a bad shout. What's a good contrast for Word Bearers? Flesh Tearers Red? I actually did do a video on Word Bearers. Word Bears. Here it is. Boom. Just sending you all to my videos all of the time. Well, thank you very much for the 5, Justice for Bard's Family. It will be done eventually, I promise. Got the first book in the Horus Heresy series, and I'm starting an army of Horus Heresy salamanders. Any tips on painting them? There is the world is slightly divided on salamanders from the Horus Heresy, because I really like the sort of the greener look, like the sort of more emerald look. But Horus Heresy salamanders do generally tend to be, in all of the artwork, significantly darker green. And actually, it's not a terrible suggestion to use Vulcan green as your base coat. But it depends what you're after, basically. The Militarum videos might help with the... looking at them, so for example, a lot of them you'll see, let's just be very careful here, that green there can tend to be, this one, can tend to be what you see on Horus Heresy salamanders, but I really like the slightly more jewelly green. So I do have a video on Horus Heresy salamanders, but it might not be the right colour for you. You have been such a help. Oh, you're very welcome, Christopher Daniel. 42, 53 Stormcast Eternals. Really? Are Stormcast winning? Oh, good lord, they are. 53 videos on Stormcast Eternals. Wow. Well, here's the question. Stormcast or Space Marines? Because Space Marines might have more. Space Marines has more. It has 93 videos. Which does include all the Blood Angels. Yeah, Space Marines is unfortunately winning that one. But there we go. Let's see what the state of these are. Nearly dry. I vote more Stormcast videos. I'm sure there's going to be something you haven't done / could do in different chamber colours. I mean, look, in an ideal world, all I would do is paint Stormcast Eternals. However, it's not conducive to growth or happiness. There will never doubt that there will be more Stormcast videos. Wait, Josh, you paint Blood Angels? Do you have, like, a combat patrol of them? Yeah. Yeah, combat patrol of Blood Angels. Old world in the future. Maybe Tronic. I'm quite compelled. I'm quite compelled to pick up a box of Illyrian Reavers. Because they're new. Which means they will be more fun to put together than the older models. I also have Ungrim Iron Fist to do as well at some point. And the other one that I need to get from Forge World is old Elise Duchard, who is also out of stock. You'll have the full Cathay range to do soon enough. All new. Oh, well. Games Workshop don't generally tend to send me them. Combat Payroll and a couple of companies. Yeah, just a couple of companies. A couple of companies of Blood Angels, that's all. It's approximately 10,000 points worth of Blood Angels that I have painted. And then there's probably another sort of 5,000 to 6,000 points that's built. And then there's at least another 20,000 points. No, there's at least another 10,000 points that is unbuilt, which could go as part of the Warhipster car boot sale. Edward705, thank you so much for the £2. Are you doing High Elves? I would like to. I don't know if I'm going to fully save myself for High Elves or Wood Elves. I was talking about this the other night, and Wood Elves have got so many models that I used to really love, like the Way Watchers and stuff like that. And I really love Glade Guard. Really love those models. Couldn't tell you why, I just do. So it might be that I do more of Wood Elves when they finally arrive. Because there are some models from that range that I've been desperate to get my hands on that I didn't buy at the time when they were still available. Because they were available for a while. High Elves are a focus on how much white you like to paint. I don't mind painting white, you know. I have some pretty decent recipes on how to do it. Like this Bael'tan Guardian. Wasn't too bad. Are you looking forward to painting all the pink drug-fueled Emperor's Children? I am, Mr. Shrimpy. I'm very excited. So how's the tank coming along? Oh yeah, I was supposed to build one of those, wasn't I? I haven't built it yet. We've done the basing. That's the one thing. But you guys just have so many questions. I've just been answering them, and you've been super generous as well with the gifted members and the super chats. Let's have a look, shall we? At the hang on, I just need to check something. Right, so that's at 35 mil. Okay, so if I zoom out to there. Right, let's sprue review a Solar Auxilia Basilisk, shall we? Oh, it's just out of reach. So I bought this to put in with my Krieg. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to paint it, but it will be a combination. That just bounced off my toenail, and that was a really unpleasant sensation. Oh, that didn't hurt. Oh, okay, can confirm. Do not drop your hobby knife on your toe. Question for Krieg Lehman Russ. Is it a good idea to get the Horus Heresy Solar Orcs one? I think I read that it's the same design in plastic for the old Krieg resin ones. You can. The only slight problem with those ones, with these ones, is they don't have any sponsons. So you might have to figure out a way to put sponsons on them. Because Lehman Russ have sponsons. And the Solar Auxilia ones don't. Oh my god. Right, okay. That's what any sponsons. You know the things on the side? So, that's a Lehman Russ. That's a sponson. Those things on the side. So, the Solar Auxilia ones don't have either of these. It just have the turret and the hull mounted weapon. I need to get 2 more of these to paint them green. Or you can find a reputable third party to try and do it, and then you might have to cut a hole in the side. What would you use to paint the skin on a Servitor / Cataphron Destroyer? I think I have a video on how to paint Cataphron breaches, Hungry Bert. I'm pretty certain I do. Right, what are we saying here? Build the crew. I bought this so I didn't have to do crew. Thank you very much. Oh god, it's quite involved. That's the whole damn purpose of this thing. Why? Look, I get that it's cool to put together all this like crew and stuff and glue them inside the tank, but if you then seal up the tank, what was the point? Unless you're going to leave the door open so you can have a look in. But I never am going to do that, you know. I guess that's why it's for the people who do like to do that. It's just slightly bizarre to me. It has an open top. It doesn't. Yeah, it's got a hatch. Yeah, you just close up all the hatches. You don't need to have any crew on display at all. I mean, look at this. This kit has not one, not two, not three, but 4 sprues. That is a huge amount of plastic for one model. I know it builds 2 tanks, not at the same time, a Medusa or a Basilisk, but still, come on. Most of the ones I've seen then are done with some of the rear hatches off to show the interior. There you go, Seriad. Like, by all means, if that's what you want to do. But, like, I always talk about, like... I always talk about speed being of the utmost importance. To me. It's one of those things, right? So painting, like, interior doors and crew and all this kind of thing. I'm not the kind of person to build half the model, go and prime it, and then go out and paint it, and then build and prime the other side of it, paint that, and then stick the model together. I don't see the point in doing that, for me, personally, because eventually the thing will be played with, and I don't want to do all of that for what is a Basilisk. It's a lot of effort to go through for an artillery piece. So it's like, it's fine, it's great, it's wonderful that it's all kind of detailed, but at the same time, it's like I also really don't mind something like the Rogal Dorn that has a big hole in the bottom because there isn't an interior to paint. Okay, we're not going to get that whole thing built. There's no chance. Not with that amount of plastic to get through. So I guess we're just going to hang out, chat. I hope you don't mind. I can answer more of your questions. How would you suggest doing the wings for the new Knight Azeros? I know they're similar to your Prosecutors, but the Azeros' wings end in black. What paint would you use for that? Does it? I have painted this model. Oh, yeah. The Hammers of Sigmar version. Yeah, I see. So what I would do is I would do it the same as the Prosecutors, and then at the end, I would basically, like, probably 1-to-1 of Black Templar and Lamian Medium, and just throw that on there and blend it once the blue is dry. So do it like the Prosecutors, then once the Prosecutors bit is dry, then go in like that 1-to-1 of Black Templar and Lamian Medium and use that to blend on the wingtips, is what I would do. Do you still have Kragnos? Bring him to the camera. I do. Is he indoors? He is. He's there. But he's behind all of these. I wonder if I do this. No, you can't really see him. He's proper wedged in there. There you go, you can sort of see him. This is why we need to move house, okay? Because in my mind, what we do is we move house, and then rather than my desk, you being in this corner and looking at me from this angle, what we'll have is we'll have a straight back wall behind us with all of the models that you can see them. So if you go, hey, can I look at that one? I can go, yeah. I can just turn around, get it down, and show you. That is if we don't sell them all. Um, any tips on the demonic flesh emerging from CSM shoulder pads or bright green eyes? I tried warp lightning, but it didn't pop like I thought it would. Do you know what really pops? It's weird, but Mantis Warriors green or Striking Scorpion green. I think that's probably the colour you're after. I generally tend to use Tesseract Glow to give it a glow, because it just sits in the recesses really nicely and it looks great. Because it's a technical paint, right? It's not a contrast paint. What's your most buried model that is the most of a hassle to get out? Can I see that one? It's probably something that's in here. It's Archaon. Archaon's proper buried. There's no chance he's coming out to play. Because not only is he massive, he's also buried behind a lot of miniatures. So that's a lot of big miniatures I have to get out of the way to get a big miniature out. To then hold up like this. You need a trophy wall. So I can hang the heads of defeated commenters. So I saw the How I Fix Mercadians video, but is there a how to paint them according to the new recipe from scratch? Altion, that is coming. So I am doing... basically, there's going to be a video on how to paint my Kassakin. Which is basically the video. If that's not enough, I can do some more Cadians. But there will be a full video on how to paint Kassakin. I just can't do it today. And I can't do it this week or next week or the week after. Well, I might be able to do it the week after next. Oh, as for the other question was the demonic flesh. Well, I mean, you can just use using one of the contrast flesh paints will work, absolutely no problem. And then what you can do is you can just change the tone of it slightly. You can make it like really inflamed by throwing something like Druchii Violet or Magos Purple over the top. You could throw Dreadful Visage over. That will give you that sort of demonette sort of kind of skin. Magos Purple also works on its own for a sort of purpley skin. One thing I would recommend is if you just check out my Accursed Cultists videos. There's two. There's the Torments and the other one, Mutants, I think is what they're called. There's loads of demonic flesh stuff in there. I missed the start of the stream, but caught mention of the Warhipster boot sale. Was that a real thing? I want to make that a reality, Demogorgon. To recover that ground, for those of you who missed it or don't really know what I'm talking about, this year, Alice and I want to move house. And as I'm sure you can possibly imagine, moving house and finding a place to put probably upwards of 2,000 painted miniatures, and probably that again in unpainted miniatures, and then that again in unbuilt miniatures, is very difficult to do. We're struggling now as it is, but we're just about getting by. So what I'm hoping to do this year is basically, in the run-up to moving, and this will be before we know exactly where we're going, etc., if we do manage to do this, is I want to do a car boot sale, a yard sale, whatever you want to call it, where I just get rid of a lot of it. And we just kind of go, right, it's a lot easier now to cope with. There's a lot less to move. IKEA Billy bookcases are great for storing a lot of minis. That is a very good suggestion. They're not great for moving them, though. Moving them's quite hard. Good evening, ADR Wargaming, otherwise known as the legend, the man, the myth, Adam. Writer of briefs. Painter of minis. Going with Legio Ignatum scheme and looking to use Mephiston red primer, but want something darker as the final red base. Would an underlying primer such as black have much influence on the red? It will. It will make it pop more. But it will make it look more Mephiston red, if you see what I mean. You're based in the States, aren't you, Alan? There's been progress, by the way, on my Warlord. No Colour Forge. Didn't they just launched in the States, didn't they? They are, yeah, it's now available in the US. I thought they were. I'm pretty certain they are now available in the States. Do you have a recommendation for doing the orange armor for the new Star Wars Legion crab droids? If it's not okay to ask about non-GWs, just let me know. Sorry. No, absolutely, you can ask. Let's have a look. Crab droids. Crab droids. Let's have a look. They don't look curious. Am I looking at the right? No, I'm not. Now I am. I think I've got you covered. I'm gonna drop this link here for you, No Name. I think that one will help you. Reliquary red might be the answer. That's what I was thinking. Colour Forge NA. Wave 2 colours are here. All Wave 1 and 2 colours are shipping now. It's going to be... No, these prices are in dollars. In dollar-reduce. Because they have their... Basically, they have a... They have a colour match chart. Let me find it. Colour chart. There we go. Direct model. Direct match. Reliquary red is not quite available in your area just yet. Sanguine red, though, is, which is a match for Mephiston red, which is not what you're after. Because the UK version... It's a shame I can't just buy it and ship it to you. That would be great. Where is the colour match? Because they basically have a... They have a... paint conversion chart. There it is. No. That's the US version. Why? Oh, it's because it thinks I'm in America now because I googled it once. Good. Yeah, so... They had a darker red. They had a corn red one. Ruinous red. That's what it was called. Anyway, they are now available in the States. So they... Corn equals reliquary. Oh, there you go. Reliquary red might be the answer. So eventually they'll all be available. So that should be good. That all probably is what you're after. So current Cadian Fatigue's recipe is Agrax over Skeleton Horde. That is correct. How bad do you think the Emperor's Children will be to paint? Getting 2 boxes for the release. I don't think they'll be... Well, I say that. I say this. I don't think fundamentally they're that hard. If I look at them again, and that's completely the wrong thing I'm googling. I was just googling myself. Oh, I wonder what Josh is up to. Wait, I am Josh. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There we go. So, the troops specifically, I need to figure out what the pink will be, but I also need to have a look at the codex, because the codex will have other ways to paint them in it, essentially. Also, No Name, does that video help you? I'm intrigued to know. If you were contacted by Colourforge to get a signature series spray, what colour would you pick? That's a really good question. Weirdly, there's 2. There's 2 that I like, that I think would work really well in a spray format. One is Iron Warriors. A heavy dark silver. I know it's not a contrast colour, but it would be a heavy dark silver. Would be one that I think would be perfect. And the other... Actually, I've got 3. The other one would be a... basically... something that is akin to Dawnstone. And I would also like a kind of something that is like probably something that's around the region of like a mid green. There's loads, basically. Loads. Skeleton Horde spray, please. Yeah, that would also work. That would also work. Anyway, what was I saying? Emperor's Children. Yeah. So I need to figure out what the pink's going to be. I don't 100% know yet. I think I'm erring towards, slightly weirdly, the Krieg have really helped with what the pink could be. The pink could be a case of undercoating it, for lack of a better word. Basically pre-shading it with Seraphim Sepia and then putting Carabao Crimson over the top, like the feet of Drea or the Death Riders, that can be the pink. It might also be that we have to do something silly, like thin down something like Doomfire Magenta or Volupus Pink. I don't 100% know exactly what I'm going to do yet. It's going to require a bit of testing. I will figure it out. But once you figure, like I said, if the Codex has like a deep purple or an optional different thing, might want to do that instead. I suspect if there is a color scheme in the Codex that shows them as the original, like the kind of closer to the Heresy purple, that will be the most popular rather than the pink. But I digress. Basically the rest of it's black and silver. So it's pink, black, silver, and then like a neon green for like the tassels, according to the box art, right? So that's fairly easy to do. You just use something like Poxwalker is ideal for that, over the top of Greyseer. It give you that kind of thing. Or you can do something like Mantis Warriors Green, which also really works for it. Mantis Warriors Green is a really nice paint. Or Striking Scorpion Green, right? Take your pick. But otherwise, it is mostly pink, black and silver. So actually, they won't be that difficult. Have you tested very diluted Magos Purple? It's very pink. I have. I don't know, though, how... Basically, what I'm trying to figure out is when Emperor's Children happens, what's the way I can make it look as close to box art, or indeed any other recommended paint schemes that might be in the book. How can I make that video, and how can I make that scheme in a way that isn't horrible to do? Basically. So, like, you don't want it to be... So, what we're going to do for this, for a mainline colour, what I've tried to avoid doing for a main colour of an army in recent times, more recent, it's been a thing that I've been trying to do more and more of lately, is not have it be, in order to do the main colour, you have to mix these two paints together and fin it down with Lamian Medium or Contrast Medium. Do you see what I mean? It's got to be a way that you can do it like it comes straight from the pot and it looks good, or it's easy to replicate. So it's like, we're just going to take 4 brushfuls of this and 1 of Lamian Medium in there just to improve the flow of it. Like, that's fine, but I don't want to do mixes or anything like that to try and get those colours. Hey, man, recently got into the hobby with Dark Angels and your videos have been valuable. Thank you so much. Well, that's very kind of you. Sup4HJT. I'm glad I could help. Hello, the Tattooed Zoologist. But there we go. I don't think Fulgrim's going to be that hard to paint. I've already kind of mostly figured out Fulgrim. Looking at him. Obviously, things change as and when you get there, but like, we're going to become best friends with Leviathan Purple and Luxion Purple, basically. Is the short answer to how to paint Fulgrim. Shaiish Purple as well is going to be in there for the wings. The wings are quite a dark, cold purple rather than the warmth of Leviathan. It's essentially, I think for the wings membranes, it's going to be a case of layer on Leviathan Purple, thinned down a bit, and then layer on Shaiish Purple, thinned down a bit, and that will get you there, most of the way there. Then just give it a dry brush of Gene Stealer Purple and it's done. Is kind of where I'm at with it. Did you speak to Alice? I didn't yet. I will talk to her tomorrow, Peter. It went out of my head. Actually, it came into my head as I went live. And then I was like, damn it. I will speak to her tomorrow about it. I will definitely get a new Fulgrim model. As will I, Abdul. Despite how many people made fun of me for painting the other one. You know who you are. I'll try and borrow some stuff from that video as well. I think, like, for example, like the purple armor of Emperor's Children. If, for example, there is a scheme in the book that uses that purple, we are going to use that recipe because it's a really nice recipe, and I think the purple armor on Fulgrim specifically looked really, really nice. Have you primed Ungrim Iron Fist? No, not yet. I will do, though. I need to go and find his base. I do know. I found it the other day. And I was like, I should superglue that to Ungrim. And then I think I went to bed. So it would have been at 5 o'clock in the morning when I found that. Have you ever made dioramas, Josh? I haven't Invigorate coaching. It's something that is on my list of things to learn how to do. The sad thing is because of where I am, I don't have the room to do it. I would basically have to dismantle my desk to have enough space to do it. When I decide to paint a model, I mainly check 3 channels. Yours, the painting coach, and Duncan. You may not agree, but I think you are the best. After all, that's very kind of you. Illustrious company for me to be in, that's for sure. It's a very lovely, flattering comparison. I shall not disagree, nor shall I agree with you. But I'm not the best. Because if I was the best, I'd have all the subscribers. That's not the truth. People are just slowly discovering us, that's all. But if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate you. Thank you. Trying to get to 100k this year. Which I believe both Coach and Duncan definitely, but I believe Coach did it this last year, actually. When I finally get to painting my Zinch army, I need to ask you how you would do the blue horror skin. Okay. Yeah, no worries. It's probably just like Ultramarines blue, to be honest. And shade it with Tyran blue to put some warmth back into it. Because blue horrors are weirdly quite cold. It's slightly weird. Warhipster are my favourite painting videos, but I don't love painting with contrast. I feel like mistakes are much harder to fix, and I'm not good enough to not make mistakes yet. That's absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair. Thank you for my videos being your favourite. And actually, like, my videos, I think they're simple enough that if you want to retemplate them using a different paint range, you can. There's always something that you can find. I think that's one of the things that I try and put into the way the videos are designed, is that you could watch it and be like, I'm going to use none of those colours, but I'm going to use these colours in the same places, as it were. And that's kind of like, you know, I don't ever want the videos to try and to be more of a like I painted it red and shaded it with brown, and then I did this, and now it's finished. You know, you don't want it to be like draw the rest of the owl type thing, paint the rest of the mini type thing. So I try and avoid that. So it's like, I hope that the videos are robust enough that that can be the way that they work. Because if, for example, I'm doing like blending on a sword, let's say, like a Nemesis Force weapon, and it might not necessarily be the way that you do it, but you're really good at blending or using an airbrush, it just helps you know where the placement of those colours are, for example. That's just kind of what we go for. I kind of try and keep my videos to be a sort of mix between practical and aspirational. Would be where I hope that I sit in the zeitgeist. I'm not sure if zeitgeist is the right word there. I thought just look at me with my vocabulary. Nah, that's kind of the sweet spot I hope to sit in, essentially. I tell everyone I know to come this way. You are criminally undersubscribed. I normally stop at Warhipster Battle Ready, but slowly gaining confidence to follow to the end. Oh, that's awesome, Sterlo. Thank you very much. Let's say you're doing your Blood Angel scheme. You finish the red, but you get a spot of black on a shin guard. How do you fix? So there's two ways. Two ways you can fix it. Well, three if you think about it. So if you if you make the mistake and you spot it immediately, right? Let's say you accidentally blob on, wash the brush, and then just rub it away. Basically, that'll work. That'll always work. It will get all of it off, right? So if you're like you like you said, you've done the red and you're painting the miniature, and then you're trying to do the black, for example. If you get a little bit of black then on the red by accident, just give your brush a quick wash and then just wick it away with a sort of, not a soggy brush, but like with a damp brush. That you'll pick up the mistake and it'll be gone. You can even use a finger sometimes if it's in a really easy place. Like, you'll see it occasionally in my videos. I will just wipe something away with my finger. That's absolutely fine. The other way to fix is if you don't notice it and you turn the model like 10 minutes later and there is still a blob. Now, it can still be rubbed off. What I would recommend at that point is you could use just a little bit of contrast medium. Just get some contrast medium on your brush and then just apply pressure to it. Generally use a clean brush. Like, don't use a dirty brush or one that's got like a build-up or a ratty brush. Use a clean brush, because if you use a ratty brush, you'll pull out some of the paint pigment from your brush onto the model that's already finished. But as always, there is a third option, which is later on. What you'll see in a lot of my videos, especially when it comes to cloaks, is these days I've kind of been a little bit more accepting that it doesn't have to be perfect immediately when it goes on. If you look at a lot of my Stormcast cloaks, because of how temperamental some of the blue paints can be, it's just a case of, if it's scratchy and patchy and horrible, it's fine, because we can apply a similar glaze later to fix it. And by a glaze, what you basically do is you just take a similar paint that you're aiming for. So in the case of red, if you're using my recipe of Blood Angels red, so Baal red followed by Blood Angels red, Mephiston red, basically, you just create a glaze of it, a roughly sort of 4 parts water to 1 part Mephiston red. And you can glaze that over the top. You don't need loads of it to do. And it might take you a couple of layers, but you will eventually cover over any patchiness, any scratchiness, and any accidental mistakes that you might have left behind on the model. Abdul says you can use airbrush thinner. That also work. Keeping a razor brush handy. Can just use a larger synthetic. Yeah. Does all of that help? I only use contrast for one of my armies, but I find the techniques you teach really applicable even to other styles of painting. Yeah. Good. You deserve 100k. I want 100k. Throw it away and start again. Oh, some people want me to do that with my armies. Could you go over the section again with the primer paint color? You can. The thing with basically the thing with repriming is what that is that's repriming. Is you don't want to just reprime a spot. So if you accidentally, like, let's just keep with this this example of, let's say you accidentally put a little brush mark of some Black Legion across a shin of a Space Marine that is red. If you just reapply Grey Seer over the top of that area, and then redo the recipe over it, you will see an ever so slightly tonal difference between the two, because the grey seer has been reprimed over the top of red, so there'll always be a feature of a tiny little bit of red coming in underneath it. So the repriming thing works if you redo the whole area. So if you, for example, accidentally blob Black Legion on a knee pad, let's say on same hand Guardian, right? So if I just come over here and overhead, oh, we're massively out of focus. So let's say we accidentally get some black just here on this knee. You could reprime it basically with grey seer, right? Just go in and just redo the whole knee pad, and then you can do the thing and it'll be fine. But if you just put a little bit of grey seer over the black in the middle of the knee pad and then go and put the reds back over it, you run the risk of basically doubling down on your contrast paint. And when you double down on your contrast paint, that's how you get that darker, scratchier feel, because they're translucent, right? So essentially, if you've used a felt tip pen in your life and you do a line of a felt tip pen on a piece of paper, leave it for a minute, and then do a line over half of it, it will be doubly as dark. So when you do the same thing with contrast paint, the same thing happens. I think some people want you to carefully put it in a box outside and then let them know the date and time and location. What do you mean? In terms of getting rid of my models? I want to prime my corn in Salamander's green from Colourforge, but worried about painting skin on top of the green. Do you have any tips? Yeah, Nyabella. What you can do is basically a contrast paint over the top of the green isn't really going to work at that point. But what you can do is, to do the Salamander's skin, is you can use, I think it's Storm Vermin Fur. Use Storm Vermin Fur as your base coat over the top. So that's your base coat for your layer of skin. Shade it, and you can shade it with one or two ways. You could go for Nuln Oil for it to be quite cold, or you could use Targor Raid Shade to add a little bit of extra warmth in there. And then give the facial features a highlight of Karak Stone. A really, really, really thin one. Really, really kind of gentle one. You could relayer it with Storm Vermin Fur if you wanted to, but you probably won't need to. How would you prime Ungrim Iron Fist? Grey Seer. Let me look at him. I think he's more of a Wraithbone job, to be honest. Because of how warm the beard is. Basically like Fire Slayers, essentially. Probably want Wraithbone for Ungrim. Hello, Philip G. Any recommendation for a petrol blue contrast? Thinking of something like that for Krieg. Oof. Yeah, I mean, I think Stormfiend is a really, really good paint for that kind of thing. If you check out my Lord Marshal Dreer, that's Stormfiend goes on there. I also did it on the Nemesis Claw, and I also did it on all of my Caradron Overlords. There's a lot of examples of Stormfiend being used on the channel. Stormfiend's a great paint. I do have a video coming out next week where you'll be able to see a quite nice blue for that, but I can't tell you what it is. It's Stormfiend, and it's shaded with Tyran blue. It's nice. You'll see. How is Colourforge on the affordability side? Is it like the same price as GW cans or a little bit cheaper? I think it's a little bit cheaper and you get a little bit more. So the fact, even if it was the same price but you get more, it would still be more affordable. I have a hard time with Stormfiend. Stormfiend can be quite temperamental. What you can do with it to just help mitigate that. 4 parts, 4 brush loads, 4 brush loads of Storm Fiend, 1 part Larmian Medium. It will help solve it every time. You get a lot more. Yeah, you get 100 mils more. It's a 500 mil can, I believe. And I think the Citadel ones are 400 mil. I can't remember. I can't be expected to keep everything in my head all at once. I feel if I paint more than 2 layers of contrast or shade paints over primer, Grey Seer / White Scar, Wraithbone, they all look the same. Can't tell any difference. Yeah. I think that is true of White Scar and Wraithbone. Grey Seer is a slightly different beast. Because it's cold, the more you apply, the colder it will get. But it certainly can be true. There will be a tonal difference. The thing to do is, if you really want to test it, is prime 1 model Wraithbone, prime 1 model White Scar, and prime 1 model Grey Seer, and just test it. And you'll see that there is slight differences here and there. Like, for example, I have some Blood Angels on the channel which were done on Wraithbone. They were my earliest videos in the form of suppressors and stuff like that. And they look very different to my Grey Seer stuff. And I've tried to bring it down even further, and it's still warm. Still got that candy red. How do you decide between your Grey Seer or Wraithbone? Aren't your Blood Angels Grey Seer? My Blood Angels are now Grey Seer. There used to be stuff that was Wraithbone. The way I decide is basically what is the tone of the picture that I'm looking at. So, do I have anything nearby where we can talk about it? Not really. Essentially, it's a case of when you look at a picture of a model, is it cold or is it warm? And the thing to look at that is to try and find the warmest colours, right? So when you see something that's covered in flesh, for example, a Fire Slayer, the 2 main colours in Fire Slayers are skin and hair, and all of the examples of it are of it being a warm skin and warm hair in the form of orange. So in that instance, you look at it and you go, yeah, I mean, for these to reflect, it's a really easy example, right? But for them to reflect what the colours of that picture are, Wraithbone is the key there. Whereas when you look at something like let's say an ultramarine, for example, the ultramarines, all the pictures that they have of them, it's a cool blue, basically. You don't have a sort of super bright warm blue. So a good example actually would be to look at an ultramarine, look at something like Marneus Calgar on the Warhammer website, and then next week when it goes on pre-order, look at the pictures of it now. Look at the pictures of Assaman. That's a really warm blue, and that's where you can see the tonal difference between them, and that's how I make the decision. Is I look at the picture and I go, that's cold, that's Grey Seer, or I go, that's warm, that's Wraithbone. Basically, that's how we do it. Evening all. I'm late, but glad to see I caught right at the end of the stream. You did, Marley. You did catch right at the end of the stream, because it is 10:30, which means it's time for us to probably run off. Sounds like Eldar. I'll never tell. I'll tell you on Saturday. So Blood Angels are a cold red. They are indeed. They are indeed. But when you compare it to the Sanguinary Guard, it's a warm gold. So Sanguinary Guard look like that. And as a consequence of the gold looking really warm, you can have warm red on them. Whereas the red of Blood Angels is a cold red, basically. And that's literally it. That's how I make the decisions. Yeah, it's all about the temperature of the colour. That's where you get Greyseer and Wraithbone. I personally love Greyseer as a colour because I think it's really, really nice. Wraithbone makes everything jump out at you really bright and warm, so it's not necessarily always ideal. I'm looking forward to your painting videos on the Eldar models. Yeah, we've got 5 coming next week. We have, as we've finished today, we have Same Han Eldar. We have Baeltan. We have a LOTR Eldar. There it is. And we have Ulthwé. And we have Eandon as well. Look at that. All of these Eldar videos coming next week. And no others. Maybe some others. But yeah, we've got 5 Eldar videos coming. Will that be 1 vid or 5? That's 5 different videos. Because try as I might, I can't bring myself to do a video of use this one weird trick to paint all 5 craft worlds. We're just going to do Contrast plus how to paint Baeltan craft worlds. Contrast plus how to paint a LOTR craft worlds. Contrast plus how to paint Same Han craft worlds. Contrast plus how to paint Ulthwé craft worlds. And contrast plus how to paint Eandon craft worlds. Because we've done it for so many other factions, it's about time we did it. And also because Cameron asked really nicely and then gave me the money to buy the Guardians, because he's very generous. And you are very generous, chat. You're very, very lovely. We've had 30 new members today. We have enough money to buy Alfarius because of Batman. Batman came in here demanding an Alfarius video. Batman gets an Alfarius video. You know? That's how we roll around here. So at least that's how we try to roll around here. But there you go. Anyway. Batman is the GOAT. Batman is the GOAT. He's Batman. Good evening, Lewis. You've arrived at, well, the wrong time, because we are about to leave. So, yeah. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, guys. I will see you all tomorrow for a painting video. Please watch this one. I know some of you won't be interested, but the painting video tomorrow is how to paint the rest of the Iron Jaws Spearhead. It's the Mega Boss. The Brutes. That video is coming out for you guys tomorrow. And then we'll have the first of our Eldar videos on Friday. Be Contrast plus how to paint Ulthwé. We'll do Ulthwé first. I think that's the one Cameron wanted. But yes. Iron Jaws tomorrow. Ulthwé Friday. Saturday. Who knows? But I'll see you all very, very soon for another video. Love you, chat. You're brilliant. You're awesome. I hope you enjoyed tonight's stream. And we'll be live again on Monday for another Militarum Monday. Who knows what I'll do. Maybe I'll try and build one of those tanks for sure. Just didn't have it in me tonight. But we'll see. Anyway, love you guys. You're the best in the world. And I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Here is the hand of farewell. And I shall wave it at you. You look great tonight, by the way. Don't know if anyone told you that tonight. But you do. You look great. Bye!